drum, tell others, like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is a road. Are we freedom, jealous and in Cuba? Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. Iran and North Korea wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others, like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Studio Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium and opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Democracy in Spice Isles is alive and well. Ask you questions, sing and beat you drum. Make you suggestions, encourage them on to walk the straight and narrow in the land. Politics, religion, and comic issue. Regional, international, spiritual issues too. Agricultural, environmental, and trending to subject matter. We fear none.
Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our program this morning on Studio Galaxy 473. Every Saturday we reach you on Studio Galaxy, and you have the Galaxy Equalizers. And the number to call is 536-2558. We always prefer interactive session, and we encourage people to express their views. And this morning, we have about topic, fishy business for Grenada fishermen. Fishy business for Grenada fishermen. It's a situation, well, you will be well aware of the present environment in Grenada. You have to sometimes fumble, It's difficult to understand how things are unfolding fast. A few weeks ago, United States threatened to put visa restriction on some countries, and unfortunately, Grenada name was involved in it. Then you hear the United States put restriction. You saw the beating of the chest of ministers as if they're preparing for war. And next we're hearing that the farmers cannot export the fish to the United States. United States is a area where Grenada export fresh fish. So some farmers perhaps don't know what to do. We even on the program don't even know how to express this thing to you. So Joshua, you might able to expound on the topic this morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm frightened this morning in terms of how accurate our topic does be in the world events. Last week we talked about mothers crying and brothers crying, and this week a boat was bombed, and I think about 11 or 12 people were killed off the coast of Venezuela. So, a whole heap of whaling going on, and a lot of people have different views. Some say, well, why didn't they apprehend the boat? Why didn't they investigate? They said it has drugs on it, but there's absolutely no evidence. It just looks like a killing. So
That is some you was there. You was there. You say you don't have evidence. You was there.
no, no, the evidence has not been
He
produced
has not been produced, but that doesn't
by
mean that.
now, but there's no sighting of any evidence. There's no sighting of guns or anything like that. It just seems like a boat with civilians in it. So anyway, this is not our topic this morning, but I just want to kind of make a link in terms of the topics that we talk about. It's not distant topic and it's not topics without meaning. Now, this morning topic, we're saying there's a smell, a fishy smell going on at the moment, and the smell is going to be affecting our fishermen the most because the export market, as far as I understand, in terms of fishes going to the United States take 90% of our fish.
We have a caller on the line. One time we take that caller. Caller, welcome.
Yes, good morning, Doc.
Yes, my brother.
Good morning.
And good morning to the other Doc.
Fishy business for Grenada farmers.
So how y'all doing?
Great, man.
We're
Good
doing
and
good.
concerned.
I give a lull these days on the radio because at least my patience has run out. I become too concerned and I have to take a cooling out because it's getting me. You see, I listening to the news and to the stories of the news, and all I can see, Mr. Pierre, Mr. Josh, is Africa and the Caribbean. Africa is responsible for a lot of the things that we're experiencing today. Civilization started in Africa. We have all the majority of the world resources. All of the world resources is based in Africa. So how do we find ourselves here? Because the Africans did not use the brain. And we, as descendants of the African, are still not using our brain. It takes me back to the Riders Agreement. I was one of the persons originally who condemned that, and I said, no, don't sign this. Let us keep the Caribbean as a zone of peace. And Caribbean leaders, take responsibility. Be accountable to the citizens. Whatever you have to do it for the citizens and not for anybody else. So here you have a superpower owning the Caribbean Sea, owning the world, and we doesn't know what to do because we see ourselves as small countries, small people, black people, and we don't have the power. My thinking tells me a very long time ago that there is no power in size of country, but power in the ability of a person to think and to represent your interests, represent us. So don't care where you go. What is the situation? You have one thing to do, is to represent the people that you manage. And if you have to get angry and say exactly what you have to say in defense and the interest of the people that you represent, say it. Don't go smiling and shaking hands and taking photos and come back as a lame duck with all of us in trouble. We did not have to give America the Caribbean Sea. We did not have to give America our country. We are nation of nation and leaders of nations. We are in the grouping where we have to represent us. And if we cannot represent us in the League of Nations, then get out. Don't put our money there. Put it in better uses. Put it where it can develop our people economically, financially, so we can interact with the people who supply us because we don't use our brain to create. We're stuck in theory. And are we going to remain in theory for the rest of our life? We cannot even make a television antenna. We can't make a little radio in Grenada. We could do nothing. And keep saying when America sneezes, we catch the cold. Come on, this thing gets me angry. Because I believe in brain power. I believe in the ability of us. And we can do it. Stop saying that we are small and these countries are large and we could do nothing. We supply them what they need to survive, which is the resources, the raw material. They sell it back to us. We keep them going. We could take decision to have them respect us. No, but we're small. So every time somebody says, well, what could we do? What could we do? America is big. England is big. The EU is big. We could do nothing. What they are controlling us with is the bombs and bullets and missiles. Where do they get the resources from? Africa. So if Africa understands the power they have, join them with the Caribbean. Deny them the resources they're taking to fight you. Yeah? So we have to take decision that is tough and pertinent if we are to get us from where we are. I don't want to be a slave because we're still in slavery. We are in mental slavery and physical slavery still. If we are to get out of that, we have to use our cabeza. We have to use brain. Expand our brain. Go into imaginary thinking. And then perfect it with analyzing it as you come forward. And do the things that they are doing because they're overseas and we're overseas too. Why everything we have to do, we have to go yonder, China, Japan, America, and they can say, look, let's go to the Caribbean for the Caribbean creation. What happened to our brain?
Next 500 years, it might be.
They are buying things to create a lot of the things they're doing. Can't we use our brain and purchase raw material and do things here? I am challenging our university because the university is failing us, I am challenging our university to create the people who could create things in the Caribbean, for the Caribbean, and to sell it to the rest of the world. We are doing nothing with the education that we have.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to be so strong.
Yeah.
But I always blame my father and my mother who didn't see my potential and failed to support me on the educational line. Grenada would have been a different place today. Yes, I know my potential, but I can't get the people to back me to be the person that I should be, that I want to be. And I said to my friends up to yesterday, maybe what I should have done in my loneliness in the world, because it started a very, very long time ago, since I was 2 years, people fighting me down. I should have studied magic. I should have studied magic, because if I studied magic, you would see 50,000 persons coming down the road, but it's one man. I would be able to solve a lot of problems that we have today. But it's too late to study magic.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
All right.
I really don't like the blame game because our children will blame us. So what we need to do is to start the process.
Yeah.
Provoke the discussion.
Yes.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
And continue that we could make the changes. So even if it is 500 years from now, Africa would get the act together. But we in the Caribbean could get our act together in the next 50 years.
Yeah.
We don't have to wait 500.
Yeah. And we're talking about contemporary issues. We're talking about bread and butter issues this morning.
And that's what I was just going to ask you. What is the economic impact for this fishy business for Grenada fishermen?
Yeah.
Because it must have some summer.
Yeah. So the topic this morning is not a theoretical topic. It's a very serious topic. It's a topic that could land Grenada in recession if we're not careful. So it's very, very serious. It's dangerous. It affects our food security. It affects thousands of people, livelihood, and it has the potential to do tremendous damage. Now, the economic impact in terms of figures, I can't confirm it, but I've heard figures said. I've heard influential people say that the income from export of fish is about 50 million. Like I'm saying, I can't confirm those figures, but I've heard those figures being mentioned by prominent speakers. In terms of the topic this morning, fishy business. Why we say fishy business is because how have we found ourselves in this position? Did somebody not do something? Did many people not do something? Are we being punished in terms of our political stand? Is this a what do they call it, geopolitical, slap in our face? What is going on now? When I've dug deeper into the subject, what I'm being told is that there is this international agreement that was made before COVID that has been extended and extended after COVID and extended and extended. And the issue in very simple form, because as I always say, fisheries and fish, I'm not the expert, but what I'm being told is that there had to be a protection mechanism that our fishermen use when going fishing, and that's supposed to protect the whales and dolphins. So it's supposed to protect the mammals, so the bycatch that I hear fishermen often talking about. And that regulation and that development in terms of doing that has not been done by Grenada. And I understand this has been going on for about 5 years or more, and it was interrupted by COVID. After COVID, there was an extension, and now there's another extension for Grenada. So for me, and I talk from a little reading, a little research. I'm not no expert on it. I wish that the experts in fisheries would call in and let's have the discussion this morning. But my issue is basically this. This is the fishy business that I see going on. I expected to see our political leaders in front of the television, our Minister of Agriculture in front of the television, reassuring the population and telling us the plan as a country that we have to make sure that ban does not come into effect in January 2026. Now, if that ban comes into effect and we've not met the criteria, then I think those people in the leadership position must look to themselves and say, have I been good leaders to our people? I think when I checked it, I think there's about 3 or 4 months left in terms of January coming. But I'm hoping that the head of fisheries has a technical plan for his minister, and we will be told about this plan sooner rather than later. But this is very terrifying, for me sitting here talking, because the amount of people that are involved in fishing, it's tremendous. So I pray that we don't get caught in terms of this situation. I pray that everybody in fisheries are working night and day to get those regulations in place. This is very upsetting in terms of we already struggle. I remember what happened to us with banana, and how it devastated the rural economy in terms of where I am today. I really, really cannot afford to see the despair come back with fisheries.
See, that's one of the challenges we have. We could pray now and ask God, but God, I don't believe God does act as if it's a pipe. Every now and then you're in trouble, you go and ask God. You lazy, you incompetent, you undiplomatic, you're reckless. And when the consequences come, you call on God. Sometimes God say, well, I go help you in the next 50 years. So we have to prepare to hold our experts and our leaders accountable. This government has been reckless. They claim that the previous government did nothing since 1983. And this government has been traveling extensively. Well, I don't know if it's a pilot. The prime minister is definitely a hostess or a pilot. And they are traveling and we don't know where they're going. And they are not seeking the interests of the farmer. I said repeatedly over the last 3 years that the government has refused to have a meeting with source-up exporters. I don't know if they had a meeting with the exporters of fish, because both the source-up growers, the source-up exporters, and the exporters of fish have the same problem: space. Sometimes they don't get space, and sometimes they don't have the quantity to fill the space available. And on very many occasions, they are left with the commodity in their hand. Well, the fishermen have it in cold storage. But the source-up growers, it perished. The last time was about $600,000, $600 and something thousand dollars worth of source-up perish. And could you imagine? After 3 years, they cannot find a meeting with the ministers of agriculture to discuss this issue. You remember I said ministers of agriculture? Because Persuader once, I think the only thing he did was to declare lunatics and idiots, and they're supposed to get heavy jail sentence. And the other minister, the only thing he did, worthy of mention so far, is to deny the Maribor farmers the water they've been benefiting from for 26 years. And he did it only for political victimization. And they said it's one man, you know. One man. He said one man. But it was 22 people. But I think there was one of the spokesperson they thought was not yellow enough. And I want the diaspora in particular, and some of the people used to walk around Grenada every minute on radio attacking government. I want you to hear, you know, the Minister of Agriculture cut off the water from the Maribor farmers because of one man. And these people were benefiting 26 years. I don't know if they met the fishermen, but I believe they didn't, because it was easy to meet the fishermen and the source-up exporters, not the fishermen, but the people who export fish, and the source-up exporters the same time, because the problems is the same. They don't have enough space, and they don't have enough quantity. So unlike Mexico or other countries that could charter a plane, and it is economical to come to Grenada to send out fish and source up, we don't have the quantity to charter a plane. And we have to get a ride on a plane. And sometimes they don't have space. And sometimes we don't have the quantity for the space that they have. Now, the fishermen in Grenada, one have to ask, what is the psychological impact of their realizing in the next 3 months or so, well, January, if nothing is not done now, they would not be able to export fish to the U.S. market.
Well, it's not only the export of fish that worries me. We have a special fish that comes through our waters, the yellowfin tuna. And you think, oh, you could get yellowfin tuna everywhere, anywhere. No, you can't. We're very blessed in so far the yellowfin tuna comes through our water. But my great worry is the damage that would be done because people will be depending on their income to pay their mortgages, to send their kids to school, to pay their loans on their car, to pay back the investment that they've made in fisheries. This potentially, if we don't deal with it, is going to be devastating to our people, devastating to our economy. This is not no joke thing that's going on here this morning. I haven't heard the ministry come out yet, but I'm hoping the ministry will come out this week and tell us that they're on top of their game, they have a plan, and they'll be ready come January 2026.
The track record, the track record of the NDC government where agriculture is concerned has not been very good. And this government in particular, and I've said it on many occasions, I believe is the worst where agriculture is concerned. They don't seem to care. I mean, let's face it, we had Persuader, and Persuader spent half of his life working agriculture, half of his life with the commodity boards.
Uh-huh.
And then he has now the last half, well, he was in agriculture and tourism again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Lennox Andrew is Minister of Tourism and Agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the ministers are extremely weak.
Yeah, but I think they break it up, he's agriculture and fisheries and land now. I think
And who is tourism?
the one you just talked about.
Persuader.
Yeah.
So they switch around.
Yeah.
All they did was to just around. Two comedian. Well, I prefer to use his term.
Mhm.
Two lunatic and idiot. Is he that used? And they switch.
Yeah.
One was on the radio saying, only one man. Only one man. 26 years.
Mhm.
The people getting water. He says one man.
Mhm.
So they switch now.
Mhm.
So they were very weak in terms of their capability. In addition to that, the fishermen in Grenada, the agriculture farmers in Grenada, have to constantly remind our politicians that our economy is based upon agriculture. It's based upon the St. George's University and the multiplying effect. They contribute 20% to the GDP. In addition to that, it is remittance coming from Grenadians here. It is on tourism and the sale of passports. And all the principles, all the aspects that contribute to the GDP is well tied up with the U.S. government.
Yeah, and I don't think that remittances are properly accounted for, because what we do is we count the money that comes, but 10 times as much come in barrels to our people. And if those things were taken into account, remittances will be closer to the Jamaican percentage, 14 or 20%. I think sometimes our data collection is archaic and it doesn't give a proper picture of what's happening in the country.
Some of these, yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good morning once again.
Yeah.
So remittances is that area that is really popping up the country. Remittances play a very, very important role in the survival of Grenada. And hadn't it been for the remittances, we crashed a long time ago.
Yeah.
So you heard me talk about leadership, roles, and responsibility for many years. So if we fail, it is the economy that is doing all these things, Because you see, things is closing. We say we're in a global village now, right? I heard in the news many years ago that a yellowfin tuna in Taiwan cost $5,000, and that's 5,000 US dollars. Yeah, 5,000 US dollars. So the market is there if you could get the market. Yeah?
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
the problem is we doesn't have the volume to supply. So what do? We now have to diversify. Tourism is the salvation to Grenada right now. Tourism agriculture. If we're not going to expand on tourism, grow the tourism economy, agriculture can get a landing spot, we're going to fail. There is nothing that could stop us from crashing if we don't grow. 400 tourists landing in Grenada in any one year cannot make an economic impact on us. We have to be getting involved in the mass tourism business. Yeah? We don't have to have much stay over. They come, they leisure themselves, they spend their money, and they go. So if you could land about 20,000 tourists on a weekly basis, or maybe on a daily basis, agriculture can support that. Yeah? We don't have to export a lot of the things we're exporting now. We will not have to export it. If we can't get the market, bring the people here to consume what we produce. That is where we have to be concentrating on, and we have to be concentrating not on supplying the overseas market, but providing the things on the local market and bringing the overseas people to consume it here. That is what we have to do. And if we're not growing the economy, putting into that, we're going to crash.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely we're going to crash. Cost is going to rise so high that everything is just going to go awry. So we now have to concentrate on the tourism industry, bringing tourists here to consume what we produce, and you talk about the cottage industry.
Yeah, we did.
The cottage is extremely important in that area. So we don't have to export the expensive things that we'll manufacture. We bring them here to eat it in a plate or drink it in a glass. Mm-hmm. Because we cannot export, we cannot get the market over there. It's going to be too expensive for the overseas market. Mm-hmm. But our people is not thinking. And when I talk about growing the economy, some people get angry with me because they don't understand it. They don't understand economics, as a matter of fact. So they will not understand what I'm trying to say. I think in light years. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yes, Scholar, thank you. So maybe what are the options? We have to sit down and get the government, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the fishermen to start within themselves like a think tank, exploring options if we lose the market. Maybe they could lobby government to see if they could get market for them in Africa and Cuba and Russia. Because while this gentleman spoke about tourism, the level of hostility and the confrontational politics that we're likely to have with the NDC and the new extremists on the group, they seem to be heading for confrontation with the United States of America. Mm-hmm. Barbados, Jamaica, the Bahamas have already working with the Americans, Trinidad. Mm-hmm. But Grenada is the jefe. Mm-hmm. And Grenada seems to be preparing for confrontational politics.
Well,
and that could affect the tourist trade from America. So we must find out what are the alternative markets for tourists and for fish and source of export that the government have. What do you think?
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, I agree with you in terms of 90% in terms of what you're saying. And I think we spoke on previous programs where we said disaster always presents an opportunity. So I fully agree this is an opportunity to have a think tank. How do we diversify? How do we add value to our product? How do we keep more of our money on island circulating in on island? You know, tourism is good, but 85% of tourism money leaves the island. We probably get, the money that is paid to workers on the island and a few little kind of agricultural products. So we have to see how we have a bigger stake in the tourism industry. That's very, very important. Diversification as well, sorry, is very important. Whether we send our fish to Barbados, whether we send it to
Cuba,
Trinidad. Why you like Cuba so
Africa,
much?
China, Russia, Russia,
All
New
right.
Caledonia, New Caledonia, Togo, Togo.
Oh God.
The
I
Prime
don't-
Minister is, these are the countries. So
Yeah.
one have to ask if the Prime Minister is looking for new market for the source of the
Yeah, but
fish.
I have to appeal to the listeners because it appears there's a coup d'etat going on in the studio at the moment. So I don't really know if I should go left or right.
Stay in the center.
But there we need to do the opportunity. And let me make a very, very serious point. I've made this point before, and I've said it in passing. Countries these days plan for 50 years ahead, 100 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 15, 20. And we don't have that kind of planning going on in terms of Grenada. We don't even have that planning for our economy. We keep saying, 85 or 90% of our economy is based on the service industry. But where is the alternative plan to diversify? The IMF come here and they say, oh yes, you're too dependent on tourism and construction. You need to diversify. But what happens? I had a report a year ago or so saying agriculture has fallen to 7%. What was the recovery plan for agriculture? What incentives were being put in? Now, we can't forever be doing recovery. We have to prevent this thing that going on at the moment with our fisher folks from happening. That cannot happen to Grenada. So whoever the leaders are, they have to have a plan. If we have to demonstrate on the streets as a people to make sure our fisher folks don't lose their livelihood, we have to do that. And this is the weakness we have because we don't have this national organization of farmers and different groups to come together and get our voices heard. People think they could just ignore us. That has to stop. We cannot allow our brothers and sisters to go down.
We talk about new markets and we speak about the foreign markets. But what about the local market? Are there ways in Grenada that we could increase our fish consumption over the
Absolutely.
next 5 years by
Absolutely.
about 50%?
Absolutely.
We
We
must.
don't market what we have. We don't market the value. We don't market the nutrition. We don't educate the children in the school about what we really have and how good it is. It seems the only people who really appreciate it is those in the diaspora who's been away 20, 30 years and they can't wait to get an avocado or a banana from home.
By the time they get three, they get fed up.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think the fishermen in Grenada and Grenadians, we have to strongly believe that we have the answers to address the challenges we have. I honestly don't believe this government have answers. But the fishermen have to see how can we increase the consumption of fish? Because if we are likely to lose exporting fish, obviously we would be in problem. But if we sit down now and play around with the idea, how can we increase the consumption of fish locally?
Mhm.
How easy it is to get fish in the supermarkets. If you go by Kenny Larson or
Yeah.
Trippy's Minimart or Daddy Wayne,
Yeah.
how easy it is to get fish.
You make an excellent point. The opportunities abound. Sometimes we don't think about the simple little thing. The other thing that I don't hear anybody talking about, Mr. Pierre, is, what is the impact of Beryl? Is our tourism arrival back to pre Beryl? Is it lower? What's going on? All of that impacts on our economy. Now, to lose the income from fisheries, It's unthinkable.
So that is why we have to provoke our fishermen to come up with answers. Sometimes the leaders don't have answers, but answers could come from the people who are involved.
Yeah.
So you could determine, okay, what do we need to get our fish in the supermarket?
Yeah.
Should we ask government for the next 2 years, you are responsible for we losing the market, you that in government, you that say you go something with choke up in, you that respond, you that traveling as if you have a disease in your brain. So we need you to subsidize, contribute some money to make the fish cheaper in the market.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, we will attract poor people to buy fish.
Yeah.
Rich people are already buying fish. They
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
buy more.
Yeah.
They have enough money to buy what fish they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you seriously want to increase the consumption of fish on the market, you have to encourage the poor people to buy fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what the government could do could come to help us to provide fish in the supermarkets. So Kenny Larson, Daddy Wayne, Trippy's Minimart, Andal will have fish in the supermarket.
Price buster.
What could we do to encourage the barbecue man to barbecue fish instead of chicken? What
What are you
could
talking
we do?
about instead of chicken?
No. Well, I mean, it's going to take a while because we used to chicken already. But if you want to encourage them, we have to do something. What could you do to encourage Rasta man? Don't eat pork. You say use Rasta. Eat fish. What you could do to encourage Adventists? Don't eat pork. You say use Adventists. Nobody didn't send you in the Adventist church. Should that go? Eat fish. But the fish must be available. The food and nutrition people. How could you demele with the fish to make it more interesting, more palatable, more attractive to fish? So that the people who line up in a big company to get chicken, instead of that, they might line up to buy fish. What could we do to encourage our people to dry fish? We have solar system. Could government seek funding? And I know you could get the funding and you could get grant aid for that. If you want to, and make more solar units. So you encourage people to dry fish. So we have more cornfish. So it is readily available.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to get cornfish.
Yeah.
But if you can get cornfish by Kenny Larson, if you could get cornfish by Daddy Wayne, if you could get cornfish by White in Sotes, more people are likely to buy. So over the next 5 years, you would see a greater consumption of fish.
Yeah, I think that those are excellent point. And sometimes we need the technology transfer to be real rather than MOU with China. But how does it trickle down to the local
I don't
population?
think China has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, well,
We have the ability.
yeah, but the vacuum packing makes a big difference.
Where all these bright fellas that come out from university?
Yeah, because if you have the vacuum pack fishes at Kenny Lal's,
We have fellas who do marketing.
those things are very, very important. It's already prepared, it's vacuum packed, it's ready to take a wash and in the pot.
So the Minister of Agriculture, the two ministers of agriculture, them that talk about lunatic and idiot, they don't have much practical sense. No, but we could increase the consumption of our local fish. That is one of the ways we're dealing with it. Because we are not producing enough fish for the international market. But if they stop by what we produce, hallelujah, bonji.
Yeah. But we have a special fish. The yellowfin tuna is a special fish. A lot of us in Grenada are not that.
We can't buy it, it's too expensive.
Not,
You want me go and eat yellowfish tuna? I won't satisfy. The little piece of yellowfish,
yeah, fin.
yellowfin tuna I eating. I eating too bonita for that.
Yeah.
So you have to market it.
Yeah, and that snapper, everybody seems to love snapper in the United States. So I was surprised the demand for it.
So that is where Does the Ministry of Agriculture have a marketing?
Mm-hmm.
We have one amount of radio station with nothing to do. They're
Yeah.
struggling to succeed.
Yeah, but they took
Does
on.
the Ministry of Agriculture decide to spend some money on marketing fish for local consumption?
Yeah, they had a marketing officer about 5 years ago. I never
He
heard from
must be
him.
dead. So what we want to do is and these two jokers we have in agriculture, Archibald is said Dundan and Wega trick us again. These two fellas we have in agriculture, they're worse than Dundan and Wega. And the NDC don't have a good track record in agriculture already.
Mhm.
So we can sit down and cry. We have to wake up.
Mhm.
And the first people that have to wake up are the fishermen
Mhm.
and those who want to eat more fish.
Yeah.
We could increase the consumption of local fish.
Mhm.
And gradually, you might see people buying less chicken and eating more fish. But we have to make fish perhaps more palatable.
Mhm.
We could encourage the barbecue man. They have a group that has go around put on some ketchup people and have all kind of ceremony for barbecuing chicken. Then encourage them to incentive for barbecuing fish.
Mhm.
And the manner in which smoke fish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you have different and we have the experts here.
yeah.
We
yeah.
have people who do marketing.
Mhm.
We have people who do the food and nutrition people.
Yeah, yeah,
They have the ability.
yeah.
So the government have a lot of money. Money is not a problem for this government.
Mhm.
Government have money.
Uh-huh.
You know, the government don't have no problem for money. What they do with the money is the issue. They're using the money to live lavish lifestyle. And I warn Grenadians, anytime you have politicians living lavish lifestyle is destruction. And you, the people, will have to pay for it, maybe with another structural adjustment program.
Mm.
But the government could use some of the money they have to create incentive. But the government doesn't think. So if the fishermen come up with the ideas and they present a package to the government, they will agree.
Mm.
Because they have not been doing anything good for agriculture. We don't get the net to hold the seaweed. We don't get the truck to pick the mango. And you get the truck to pick the mango and go around and such. We don't get that.
Mhm.
No, we like it to lose the fish trade. And every time we talk about fish, them source up exporters must be crying.
Mm.
They must start to cry already.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we want to encourage the fisher folk,
Mhm.
the fishermen, the Ministry of Agriculture. Because you have people in agriculture who are well trained. They transverse the world. And particularly know how the government doing, so they do it.
Yeah, right. And as I listen to you speak, Mr. Pierre, my thought process kind of kicks in. I'm thinking, we are forever reacting to situation. When are we going to get our strategic plan in terms of agriculture? When are we going to diverse our agriculture? When are we going to have a plan of action so that the all of agriculture, livestock, crops, our secondary processing are all strategically being planned and worked upon our government estates,
When Africa unite, you'll get that done. Africa might take the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
They won't come now. About 1,000 years they're gonna take. But we have to ask all the stakeholders. I like to go straight to the fishermen.
Mm-hmm.
And the fishermen should have meetings among themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait for nobody to come. Don't bother about order. Whether it's in a rum shop or by the sea, sit down. Have a meeting by yourself. You all have bright children. Ask one of them to take notes. And sit down and brainstorm. How could we increase the consumption of fish in Grenada?
Yeah.
I believe one of the ways is that when you go by Kenny Lalsin, when you go by White, What are some of the places in St. Patrick's again? When you
I don't know.
when you go by Trippy's Minimart, when you go by Baines in Tivoli, when you go by Kenny Larson, when you go by Andal, you must able to get fish.
Yeah.
And if you want a little yellowfin tuna, just in case we lose the trade, you could get a little yellowfish tuna.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we could encourage special seasoning for the Grenadian fish.
Yeah.
So in that way, the farmer come up with the food and nutrition. Stop preparing only macaroni pie and scones and cononga. So you have a special, encourage the barbecue man to barbecue fish. If at the ministers, when you have a forum, don't eat chicken, eat fish.
Yeah.
So in that way, over the next 5 years, we could well see an increase in the consumption of it. You could help to prepare some solar units so people could drive fish. We have to do something because of the fact that the Grenada government and the Grenadian politician seems to be beating the chest for the United States of America.
Yeah.
So we're heading more and more into confrontational politics.
Yeah.
So if that is the way the people in Grenada want to go, no problem with me. But in the meantime, you must brainstorm and come up with new ideas. I don't know if you're going to be able to export fish to Cuba. The fish, I don't know if Cuba wants yellowfin tuna.
I don't think they have the currency to buy.
Right, so they can buy it. Next thing you get some peso, 2,000 for one. I don't know if you're going to export to Togo or Nigeria or Africa.
Where's Togo?
I don't know. We don't know. That's where Digna and them going. But my issue is we must brainstorm. We must try to increase the storage of fish. We might be able to sell dry fish to China.
Yeah.
If we come up with a container load of salted codfish, China might buy a container load.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right.
So we have to think.
Yeah. So
We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yes, I'm there. It's three of us today.
Yes, and my brother, you welcome.
I'll tell you something. You know, great program once again. The thing about prices, Mr. Pierre and Mr. Lewis, it has to do with the attitude of our farmers, the attitude of our fishers. You remember when beef was $1, $1.50 a pound, and liver, you used to get liver for just free. Nobody wanted liver; they just give you the liver. And fish was something 50 cents a pound, 75 cents a pound. Now, fish it's going to $11 now. Some people tell me they pay $13 a pound for fish.
yeah, yeah, I find it high.
Beef is around the same price.
Beef is usually about $15, and I could never understand the increase in beef because I always ask, has the price of grass gone up? Why
If
did
pork
it
go
gone up
up,
so high?
They say pork a pork, no beef. So if pork go up, beef going up. Right up.
There lies the problem. You see, there lies the problem. We are not contemplating, look, who have to consume what we produce? It's not going overseas, it's going to local. The people are struggling locally to buy those things. So, but we continue to raise the price. And that is one of the problems. As long as we continue to raise the price beyond the ability of people to spend, we're going to shut ourselves down. So the farmers have to understand that, look, I was in business. I managed big business. It has very little to do with the high prices. Business strategy is volume turnover.
Yeah.
Right? So your cost low and your volume is high, you make the money.
And the
Your
profit
cost
big.
high, your cost high, and your volume is low, you bust.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to understand. It is the volume that keep us there. So if you could keep people eating, throwing away things that don't taste well but is still good, throwing it away and buy again, it is good business. Waste is serving thing and eating a ponga thing in a month. You see? So as long as we continue with this kind of attitude, it's a high price that's going to bring us the money. We're going to continue losing money and going under the fall farm of that. I told Mr. Pierre, I asked you some time ago, why did you sit there and allow the gentleman to go into this sailing business? I said that to you.
The head had like Google Lame. The head had like Google Lame.
I analyzed this thing a long time ago, and the one in Felix Park on the close too. You see, these guys, they are not thinking. They're ambitious, but they're not thinkers. Before you step into business, you have to see your failure and your success, you know. You can't just go into business because you have a few dollars that you could spend, and eventually you don't know when you spend the money how it's coming back. It's a return of the money. And this guy did not put this thing over. So when I discussed with my friend, and I said, look, this thing going to fail. Well, I know it would fail. The one in Felix Park going to fail. Because anytime you want to slaughter 35,000 birds in a month, you cannot import to Barbados, Trinidad, and wherever. We doesn't have the capacity to consume that. What you telling me?
You have to export it to Cuba.
Well, what Cuba producing too?
But you have to go in Togo or Nigeria.
Well, okay, well, the flight alone is going to be too costly for what you produce.
His Uncle Sam, that is the great Uncle Sam does buy and throw, you know. Uncle Sam does buy and throw.
Yes.
So that is why the American market is so powerful.
Right, because you see, America owns the world's financial system. So they don't have to wait on commerce to bring the money. They print money to do whatever they have to do. We can't do that. So we have to be very careful. And I'm asking our farmers and those who produce it, reduce your price to the level that the consumer could purchase from you and concentrate on high volume disposal of your goods. If you do that, you're going to succeed. If you continue raising the price because this price go up and the imported one go up, so are going up too, eventually it will crash. And that's what is happening to us. Yeah. We're crashing. Have a great day, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our micro farmers have to come. Joshua, are you shedding a tear for the fishermen? Or are you saying to them, in times of disaster, we must think?
In times of disaster, what?
We must think.
Well, I'm shedding a tear, and I'm also, thinking it's an opportunity, as we've always said on this program. Sometimes when we have this situation, it highlights to us our deficiencies, and it gives us an opportunity to correct our deficiencies. But what I worry about is people turning their back on the deficiencies and turning their back on the problems and abandoning the people who are most in need. I see, one of the things I was hoping that we'd have on the program is somebody calling and say, well, this is what we need to do to meet the regulations. We need to make our nets smaller. We need to use this
as
and that.
time runs out on us, you think the two ministers of agriculture abandon the problem? You think they run?
Well, the thing is, I haven't heard from government as yet. And
What do you think happened? You think they do hear?
I'm hoping to hear from them, and I can't believe, because they're fellow Grenadians, that they will abandon that 50 million kind of income.
You think they run?
I don't know if they run. If anything, they might drive or they might fly.
Yes, brothers, as we come to the end of the program, we are extremely concerned about the fishy business for Grenadian fishermen. We know what it means for the fishermen, and we don't know exactly what is causing that. Nobody is speaking. People started blaming me pro Donald Trump, and Donald Trump doing so much a thing. He deserves some blame still. But we don't know what is the situation. You don't know if there is a silver lining at the end of the tunnel. But we want to encourage our farmers to sit down and act like a think tank. Discuss the issue among yourself and come up with answers where you will continue to survive and prosper and do well and make money.
Very good.
And remember to subscribe to the program. We forget to beg you to subscribe.
You want to see some
Yes, caller punch. Yeah, caller
Hi,
you.
good morning.
Yes. Go right ahead, caller.
Mr. Yes, Mr. Pierre, good morning and good morning to Doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Pierre, well, I never, first time I called in that program, but I always listen to your program. What I want to make clear, Mr. Pierre, is that I recall, I'm not dissing anybody. I recall during the revolution, there was embargo against the revolution. They couldn't sell a lot of things. Even our banana and our fresh fruits and vegetables could not have left the country because, the revolution here in Grenada. What happened then? There was a program that named Eat What You Grow and Grow What You Eat. And as a result of that, I was able to travel to a number of different countries studying. And I saw our product sold in places like Russia, Cuba, on the shelf, labeled nectar
And Togo.
from Grenada. Whether you say Togo or not, but I didn't go in Togo. I saw it. I also saw it in Kenya.
Yeah.
We had Indonesia was the largest producer of nutmeg. Grenada was the second,
Yes.
but we had the better quality.
And
What they did was is that they put ours in the front line because of the quality, the taste, the oil, and
Yeah.
they sold theirs. So what they did was to mix Grenada nutmeg and Indonesian nutmeg for the international market. And I'm aware of it, and I saw it because at that time I was trained in farm school, so I know a lot about agriculture, a lot, because I studied that planning and economics in agriculture, management in agriculture. I went in a few countries studying that.
Wonderful.
And I could tell anybody, it seems like we have a little problem, but it takes know-how to solve the problem. It takes dedication. It takes knowledge. And it takes a number of people to come together. I'm not saying politicians. I'm not calling any name. I am just saying it takes a number of people to come together in order to eradicate the liquor problem that we face. Now, if we trade with America, yellowfin tuna, what America pay maybe $10-15 US dollars a pound, I sure that there is other countries that can pay us more per pound. If we has the know-how, if we learn how to diversify and look for markets, not locally, I'm talking about, I heard a number of comments about what we need to do is to bring them here to eat and let the money stay here. We need the foreign exchange in order to purchase a number of goods, because a lot of things we don't have here that is not made in Grenada. A lot of things we consume here is not made in Grenada. A lot of things we wear here is not made in Grenada.
Yeah.
So we have to be very mindful of where we put our foot. And if we want to be helter-skelter and put away food everywhere and not sealing the deal, I am saying sealing the deal with some of our allies, our good friends, and our hardworking people, we are going to suffer a little bit until some people who claim to have the know-how. There is a lot of things that was promised in Grenada, and we didn't get it. But I am saying, the knowledge we have today, the knowledge that young people have today, the knowledge that was there from ever since, that never came to work, we have to put it to work now. We cannot go around promising to give people, as it was in the old days, rum and bread,
And corned
bakes
beef.
and rum and corn fish to support you. No, that them days done. People analyze you, Mr. Pierre, you well know that. People analyze you and they're seeing what you're doing and they're knowing what you're doing and they expect you to reach out. We're talking about the livelihood of people. We're talking about dealing with issues that people need house, land prices escalating.
Carlos, sorry, we're going to have to stop at that point. We want to thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Mr. Pierre.
And we like the
All right, Mr.
provoking
Pierre.
discussion. And we want to say the fishermen in Grenada could take a lead from you and sit down and start to discuss the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we want you to
Okay, Mr. Pierre,
subscribe.
thank you. All right.
We want you to subscribe to
Yeah.
Studio Galaxy 473. Like and share our program.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
For you, make your contribution, let them know. Democracy in Spice Islands is to walk the straight and narrow in the land.